Pardon the interruption, folks. It's time for Dragon football here in Sulphur Springs. Let's go out to Gerald Prim Stadium, where tonight's game is called by KSSE Sports Director Ross Levinsky. Ross?
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for interrupting your Rangers broadcast. And we bring you the Northeast Texas Dragons, a semi-pro football team and a part of a pretty nice semi-pro football league. The Dragons, based right here in Sulphur Springs, taking part at Gerald Prim Stadium where they have their home games. And we've already had an opening kickoff just moments ago, kicked to your Dragons. And they're able to march it up all the way to midfield. In fact, maybe even a bit past it. No, they'll put it just about square at the 50. But I know what you're probably thinking. You're hearing us calling football, and you're thinking, wait a minute, what month is it? But you're absolutely right. It is spring football. And honestly, as I was making the walk over here and into the stadium, I was thinking, man, I wish it could be this nice during the fall. And great to be calling this football, and handoff to the right, able to break a tackle, swing back out, but he is tackled behind the line as quickly a nice second effort from the Outlaws gets him behind the line of scrimmage. So a little bit about these Dragons. They are currently 4-1 on the season, and went 8-1 last year, lost in the playoffs. Flag against the Outlaws. It'll be 5 yards, so it'll make it a 1st and 5. Dragons set for the short yardage situation. Quickly getting the handoff, looking right, passing it right, and a throw right to the line of scrimmage. Able to break one tackle, but not the second. And forward progress will get him about a yard short of the 1st down. So it'll be a 2nd down and just under 1 yard to go here for the Dragons, looking to get their first down here of this game. We'll be sure to give you all Ranger updates. We are now in the middle of the 3rd as the Angels able to score the first runs of the game, leading 3-0, and a handoff to the left, and able to break a tackle. Quickly, though, picked up by a number of defensive men. Looks like a couple of linebackers that made the tackle. He's able to get about 5 yards, the Dragons are, though, for another 1st down. It'll be the first down here of this game for the Dragons. So about these Dragons, they are missing some guys here today. They, with their quarterback, of course, Ty. Trying to get it out to a wide receiver screen to the right. Looked like he tried to, looked like it was something of a slip screen, in which he just started rolling right after the play. Looked like it was rolling left. But not able to make the completion, so a 2nd down and 10. Another screen, and this one around very successful, going to the left and making it all the way inside the 20 for about a 15-yard gain. In fact, it'll be 13 yards for the 1st down. An impressive run there to get a second 1st down for the Dragons here. Just outside the red zone are your Northeast Texas Dragons. And with the new set of downs, able to break one tackle, but not able to get through the second wave of defenders as he gets just a yard on the rush. That was a 1-yard rush on 1st down. Not able to get past a second wave of defenders that had about 4 of them for Texas Outlaws. So the Dragons now on 2nd and 9. Defense showing blitz. Lots of defenders there. Ty taking off with it. He'll keep the handoff on the QB option. Many folks will know I simply have to name the tie. Simply have to name the name Ty, and you can probably guess that it is in fact Ty Rollison, quarterback for the Wildcat football team who won state in 2008 and joined Coach Greg Owens' staff this past football season. Coach Owens, though, since retiring from his position as athletic director and football coach, Ty looking down the middle. He's got a man in the end zone for a touchdown. And the Dragons, your Northeast Texas Dragons, take an early lead with an impressive pass to number 2, Trey Dean. Great job there on the opening drive of this game from the Dragons to get a great pass in the end zone from Ty Rollison to Trey Dean for an early 6-0 lead. And it took 3 minutes exactly. Good on them. Taking in the opening kickoff yard, and they will go for two wide receivers in both directions. Instead, they will opt for the handoff to the running back and not able to make it. Not in a big way, as he looked like he probably lost 2 or 3 yards on the 2-point attempt. But it will stay a 6-0 lead for the Dragons. We're going to take a quick break before the Outlaws get their first kickoff of the game coming up shortly. Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium. Just before we went to commercial, your Northeast Texas Dragons took the opening kickoff almost, 50 yards exactly, in fact, and it ended with a Trey Dean receiving touchdown from Ty Rollison. A beautiful pass it was, just able to put it right over the linebackers, but not too high to where the safeties could come up for it. So just a greatly fit pass from Ty Rollison to Trey Dean for the first touchdown for the Dragons, and they now lead 6-0 on the failed 2-point conversion attempt. The Outlaws getting the kickoff and able to make it about 10-12 yards before being taken down to the 42. So we'll see how the Texas Outlaws can respond after giving up the opening drive touchdown to the Dragons. It's a pretty efficient drive there for Northeast Texas, as they were able to make it pretty far. Pretty efficient. I want to say looks like 7 plays. Yep, 7 it is. And Dragons getting a touchdown on a pass that was from 15 yards out. But now the Outlaws, we'll have to see what they can do after giving up the early lead. It took just 3 minutes, minus a bit of time for kickoff. And Dragons showing blitz. They hand it off, the Outlaws do, and sweeping right, but he is swallowed up in the backfield. My goodness, he will be taken down for a 7-yard loss. Well, though, all right. He's doing the cha-cha slide down there. The ref is trying to figure out where he wants to spot the ball, but it will be, in fact, a 7-yard loss and a 2nd and 17. Tough start to the drive there for the Outlaws, not exactly the way a coach draws it up. Handoff on the first play and a loss of 7 yards, so effectively a false start or a holding play. And as many listeners will know, Wildcat football suffered some similar issues last year in their fall season. Just a number of drives just kind of shot themselves in the foot with penalties and, other kind of mistakes that you obviously don't intend to make, and it can just really stymie all momentum and kill a drive. The Dragons blitzing the Outlaws, and he's got a man on the left, but just not able to make the pass. It was a pretty solid attempt, but he had about 3 Dragons just barreling down towards him. Not able to make the pass, though, and now the Outlaws facing a big 3rd and 17 here from their own 35-yard line. The Outlaws in danger of a 3-and-out here. Definitely not something that you want to do after you gave up an opening drive touchdown to the Dragons. Dragons showing blitz again. And once again, the quarterback for the Outlaws is rolling deep back. He's going to have to lay it out there. He's got a man, and an interception. That'll change momentum in a big way. We'll try and figure out who it is. I believe that is Trey Dean, but we'll confirm here in just a moment once I can see the back of his uniform. It's a bit hard to tell, admittedly. Yep, that is in fact Trey Dean. So a receiving touchdown here and an interception through only the first 4 minutes and 45 seconds. So he's come out of the gate on fire. So with the quick turnaround and the change of direction, the Dragons are going to try and capitalize off the momentum. Quick pass out to the left, and A.V. Frazier makes a nice catch and just marches downfield. In fact, he probably got 5 yards on that first down before he was even touched. He was all alone there on the left side, on the closer side of the closest hash mark to us. Nice pass and nice completion there by A.V. Frazier. Now just a 2nd and 1. So a 9-yard completion there for the wide receiver. And now, 2nd and 1 here. Outlaws blitzing in a big way off the edge, and Ty able to somehow get out of it and release the pass, but just not able to make the completion there. Pass was intended for Ty Wilson, and Wilson almost came up with it, but just couldn't quite get both hands on and complete the process of the catch. So it will be a 3rd and 1. Dragons not hoping to give up what could be a great opportunity here after the interception from Trey Dean. Here's a 3rd and 1. Ty looking down the middle. He had a man and not able to complete the catch is Jashun Jones. So now a 4th and 1. Decision time for the coach of the Dragons. That's Bill King. He is assisted by Mike Simmons, Corey Young, who is the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator Norman Wallace, and special teams coordinator Clinton Burnside, and linebacker coach Aaron Tinner, and both offensive and defensive line coach Donald Dangerfield. Dragons signaling like they're going to go for it on 4th and 1 with leading 6-0. And they'll hand it off. He's able to break a tackle, able to break another tackle, and get the first down. Great run there by number 6. That's Tariq Castleberry. Man, he really fought for those 2 yards. And a big first down here for the Dragons as they don't go 3 and out or potentially turn the ball over on downs, giving it right back to the Outlaws after they got the interception, once again from Trey Dean. Dean receiving touchdown, and Rollison had a man with about 2 or 3 yards of green grass ahead of him had he made the completion. But Wilson just, I don't think the timing was right on that throw from Ty Rollison. So it is a 2nd and 10 after the incompletion, intended for Wilson. Two wide receivers, both sides of the line. Rollison looking deep and looking right. He's got a man, and Trey Dean just not able to make the catch. It was a pretty beautiful pass there from Ty Rollison, but just not able to get both hands on it, secure the catch, so it will be a 3rd and 10. And your Northeast Texas Dragons in danger of facing another fourth down situation. Not too long ago, they faced a 4th and 1, elected to run it, and got the first down. But now, just a few plays later, they face a 3rd and 10. Rollison trying to get the pass to, I believe that was number 12, Jashun Jones. And once again, not able to, I just don't think the timing was right on that throw. Rollison was upset. He knew, just like the pass a few moments ago on 1st and 10, had that been a completion, that would have gotten some decent extra yardage after the catch. But it'll be a 4th and 10. Once again, your Dragons electing to go for it. Rollison gets the snap. He's looking down the middle. He's got Trey Dean for a touchdown. Trey Dean having himself a show. Let's see, through 8 minutes and 45 seconds, he has 2 receiving touchdowns and an interception. So
from Kyle Rollins to Trey Dean,
just showing up and showing out. What a great play there. Once again, Ty hitting a man down the middle, just tucking it in between those 2 seam lines for another receiving touchdown. Dragons electing for the extra point this time. They currently lead 12-0.
And the
kick is no good. I don't know what went wrong with that one, whether it was the kick to the play snapper or maybe the wind just carried it after the kick, but either way, kick is no good. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and when we return, it'll be Texas Outlaw football coming right up. Perfect timing, James Terry, as always, sending it back to us over here at the Prim. Your Dragons lead 12-0 over Northeast Texas. However, the Outlaws on the kickoff to getting it past the 50-yard line. A very impressive return there by the Texas Outlaws, and I believe that was number 1 who was able to do that. That's Dadrian Marshall, and able to just get it into Dragon territory. It's the first time here tonight that the Texas Outlaws have been able to do so. And I believe I said it was Trey Dean who got that interception against the Outlaws, but I believe that was actually Tommy Pop Walker. So, apologies. But Trey Dean still got 2 wide receiver touchdowns here through 8 minutes and 45 seconds. I'd say that's not a bad start to the game. The Outlaws, first time here in Dragon territory at the 49-yard line, looking right, looking left, having to escape the pocket. There's a flag down. Anticipate it being holding, and we will get the call here in just a moment. Once he started making his way left after moving right, moving left, moving right, you could kind of tell. And I guess they waved it off. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 now. And he is sweeping right on the bootleg. He's calling a man back to him to try and get him in position. However, he's having to throw it across his body, and as a result, it is picked off by the Dragons. And now making his way close to the 50-yard line on the interception is number 9. That's Dakota Rayleigh. Once again, that's Dakota Riley able to make the 2nd interception for the Dragons defense here tonight, just in the first quarter alone. And I believe the first one was once again Tommy Pop Walker. And the Dragons already with 2 touchdowns here in this game. And now threatening after a 2nd defensive turnover coughed up by the Texas Outlaws. The Dragons in danger of, well, putting this game wide open. Handing it off to the running back, number 8, Philip Mcginnis. Mcginnis getting 3 yards on the first down carry. Making it a 2nd and 7. Ty looking right, gets the completion to his wide receiver, and he's able to just carry some 2 defenders, 2 defensive backs, past the first down marker. Once again, that was Trey Dean.
Trey Dean with the first down catch, the 1st and 10.
Trey Dean just came out here on this beautiful Saturday night on a mission. Ty fakes the handoff, looking right, tries to get the catch to A.V. Frazier. Frazier just not able to come up for it. I mean, that would have been like, only way I can describe is it had very much a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kind of skyhook motion. He kind of went up with the one arm, or for all you Shakespeare fans, like Romeo and Juliet. Ty almost loses the football. Somehow it comes right back to him, and he keeps it himself. And is somehow able to make it a positive gain. My word. What a heads-up play there by Ty Rollison, the quarterback here for the Dragons. Man, that reminded me of back in the day when Tony Romo was just a wee little Bambi quarterback He was going to punt, got the snap, and it went over his head, and he had to chase back for it, somehow came up with it, somehow fumbled it again, picked it up, and ran for a first down. And pretty similar here, although the Dragons weren't able to pick up the first down, just getting a yard on that one. However, great that they could turn that into a positive play after seemingly disaster. And Ty, once again, this time overshooting his wide receiver, this time Philip Mcginnis, as Mcginnis was running for the corner there. So after the incompletion, another fourth down the Dragons face here. 2:50 left to go here in this first quarter. Your Northeast Texas Dragons playing here at Gerald Prim Stadium lead the Texas Outlaws 12-0. Rolson looking left, looking down the middle, and he's got a man square in between the two seam lines. And you could have probably guessed it's Trey Dean who got the reception. And once again, Dean just continuing to be a huge part of this game, and that's a first down for your Dragons. Dean and Rollison, two workforces for the Dragons here up to this point, as Rollison has passed Dean twice for both of the Dragons' touchdowns, and just trying to dish it out to the right on the crossing route intended for Wilson, but Wilson not able to get up to the ball. Another incompletion there for Rollison. However, luckily that one was just a first down crossing route incompletion as opposed to a 3rd and 9 like the Wildcats, like the Dragons faced a moment ago. So a 2nd and 10. About a minute and a half to go here in this first quarter. The Dragons hoping to get their 3rd touchdown in just this first quarter. On the handoff goes number 8, Mcginnis. And he's able to put his head down and just cut right in between the interior of the offensive line for about 5 yards. So they'll call it 4 yards. So now a 3rd and medium the Dragons face, which definitely makes it a bit more manageable than it was on the last set of downs as the Dragons faced a 4th and 9. So 3rd and 6. It's almost a breeze compared to what they had. Split formation, 2 wide receivers left, 2 to the right. Rollison looking left, pump fakes, looking for number 4, and put the ball pretty square in the hands of A.V. Frazier at about the 5-yard line, but Frazier just not able to come down with the completion. So before the last play, I was talking about how the Dragons were facing a 4th and 9 on the last set of downs. And this time around, however, a bit shorter, a bit more manageable at 4th and 6. But no walk in the park. So Outlaws definitely going to be looking to end this drive here and hope that the Dragons can come up empty. They are blitzing. And nice pass. Somehow it's completed. And somehow, some way, he's able to break through 1 and 2 tacklers to get inside the 10. And just like that, the Dragons are in red zone territory once again here.
And that is end of the first quarter. Dragons is 12.
So that will be the first end of the first quarter. 0-0 on the clock. Man, that sure went by fast as your Northeast Texas Dragons already leading 12-0 heading into the second. We'll be back here in just a moment. Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium on a beautiful Saturday evening here on April 16th. Your Northeast Texas Dragons hosting the Texas Outlaws and had themselves a pretty successful outing up to this point as they got 2 touchdowns in 8 minutes. And now they're threatening to get a 3rd here in the red zone of the Outlaws at about the 10-yard line. Wilson looking right, looking left. He's got a man in the end zone. Is he able to make the completion? Yes, he is, but they will mark him down short of the goal line as he had to come back for the catch on the hitch route. I believe that's number 15, Ty Wilson, who made the reception. And they'll just march it right down the middle. Waiting for the signal. It looks like they've got it, and that they do. A Dragons rushing touchdown to increase their lead currently now at 18 points, 18-0. Trying to see who got the touchdown. And I believe it was Ty Rollison rushing on that one to get it. So 3 straight drives the Dragons have been on offense, and all 3 of them end in touchdowns. The Dragons looking to get the extra point here. Currently leading 18-0, seeing if they can push it up to 19. Just 44 seconds here into the second quarter, and the extra point kick is no good. So it'll stay an 18-point lead at 18-0. We're going to take another quick break, and when we return, we'll see how the Outlaws can respond down 3 scores. We'll be right back. Welcome back out here to Gerald Prim Stadium as the Northeast Texas Dragons, a semi-pro football team out here based right here in Sulphur Springs, currently leading big 18-0. Not able to get the extra point on their previous touchdown just moments before we went to the commercial break. And they lead 18-0. Kickoff to the Outlaws. Picked up at about the 24-yard line. He's got a little bit of green grass to work, and he's going down the closest sideline and once again almost able to make it up to midfield. So special teams been pretty good for both of these teams. Both teams able to kind of advance it pretty far upfield. And the Dragons, your Northeast Texas Dragons, have been able to push it even past the 50 at times. So getting really good starting field position is definitely a key to success here for this team. I was talking with Coach Donald Dangerfield before the game here tonight. And was talking about how they average 56 points a game. And, well, I'm starting to... It's kind of one thing to hear about it, but you got to see it to believe it. And, man, they have just been lighting it up here. Efficiently moving downfield on all 3 of their offensive drives, all of them ending in touchdowns. The Outlaws trailing big here, 18-0. Moving to the right, having to get a wide receiver in position to come back for a throw. But running towards the far sideline, he is not able to make the catch. And number 10, the intended target. And penalty on the field, they will call it holding. We'll see where they move the ball to. It'll be 10 yards from the spot. So,
about 15-yard penalty on the Outlaws.
It'll negate about 15 yards. Pretty close, at least. Call it 11 yards on the holding penalty. Still second down, though. The Outlaws, as on their first drive, letting penalties getting the better of them. Wildcats football also suffered from the same thing. The Outlaw quarterback rolling left. He's got nothing but green grass ahead of him. My goodness, he is able to make it past the 50 into Dragon territory, and it should be more than enough for a first down. Yes, they will. So, a 21-yard gain there. Really nice job feeling the pressure that he was getting on the interior line, sweeping out to his left, and able to take it down the near sideline for a 22-yard gain for a first down for the Outlaws. And man, do they need it as they currently trail 18 as we are 2 minutes into the second quarter. And here on the third drive for the Outlaws, the first 2 ended in interceptions, which in turn led to 2 more Dragon touchdowns. So Outlaws need to get some points here on this drive, and oh boy, looks like the team was not ready for that one. And the quarterback sweeping to his left and then is to his right. He's got a man downfield, but instead, throwing it across his body, and that will be an interception. We'll see what they're going to call on the field, because both teams kind of stopped and waited like they were expecting a encroachment or a false start penalty. Instead, the whistle wasn't blown, so they let it play out, only for it to then be an interception. So we'll see what the call is on the field. Yep, and they will call offsides against the Dragons, so it'll remain a first down. So the offsides penalty called against the Dragons on defense moves the ball 5 yards closer to a first down for the Outlaws. The Outlaws really hoping to build upon their success on this drive as the quarterback was able to sweep left. That's and running back taking it to the left, able to slip by some tacklers and go off the near sideline for almost a 5-yard gain. They'll call it 4 yards, making an even more manageable 2nd and 1. It was a 1st and 5 after the offsides penalty, and now 4 yards closer and an extremely manageable. In fact, I don't want to call it easy, but a very doable 2nd down. And as long as they can avoid some kind of penalty perhaps or loss of yardage, it really should make converting on this set of downs pretty easy for the Outlaws. However, as previously mentioned, 2 interceptions to end 2 offensive drives. And another penalty by the Texas Outlaws. The wide receiver, number 10, jumped the snap and started taking off. So, mention avoiding a penalty or some kind of loss of yardage, and it will be just that. Number 10 for Texas, John Davis, marching off the sideline. And so now, the Outlaws, 2 running backs in the backfield, both on pass pro, and the quarterback tries to get away to his running back. He lost control of the football, and it's picked up by the Dragons, number 28 for Northeast Texas, Nick Zavala. So great job once again, taking advantage of some mistakes suffered by the Texas Outlaws, and the Dragons once again have great starting field position to begin a drive at. Yep, they'll put it square at the 50. So we'll be back here in just a sec. Welcome back here to Gerald Prim Stadium. As before we went to commercial break, not too long ago, it was a fumble suffered by the quarterback for the Texas Outlaws. That's Michael. However, first play of the drive for the Dragons is a bit of a nightmare as it's a 10-yard loss. I believe it was a sack of Ty Rollison. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 for the Dragons. Outlaws showing blitz. They've got 6 guys on the line, and they're sending all 6 of them. Ty Rollison evades all of them, takes off. He has got at least 10 yards, make it 20, and he's still going inside the 30 into the 25-yard line. Wow. My goodness, that is a 35-yard gain for Ty Rollison. My word, just able to scream by defenders and taking it straight down Broadway for a 35-yard rush. Coach for Wildcat football and state winning quarterback Ty Rollison not missing a beat out here. Besides a few incompletions, it's been a pretty solid night for him. On the shovel pass, he hands it off to his running back, who quickly cuts inside, but he's only able to get about a yard, maybe 2 on the rush. They will mark it as a yard, so 2nd and 9 here, about 9.5 to go before we reach halftime. Your Northeast Texas Dragons lead here at Gerald Prim Stadium, 18-0. Rollison. And the Dragon offense facing a 2nd and 9. Rollison has to give it out to his running back, running down the far sideline, trying to take it out during the flat, but he's swallowed up pretty quickly, and I don't think he got any yards on that play. No, in fact, they'll mark down at the line of scrimmage, so a 3rd and 9. 9 minutes to go here in this first half. The Dragons lead 18-0. And the Outlaws just hoping they can get some kind of stop here and stop the bleeding. As the Dragons 4-1 entering tonight and look to be well on their way to 5-1. Rollison trying to get it to a wide receiver, but I don't think he was ready for it, as it looks like Rollison has just thrown. Yep, it'll be a turnover here, the first turnover for the Dragons. So that will change possessions here. We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be back here in just a moment for Texas Outlaw offense coming right up. Welcome back here to Gerald Prim Stadium, as Ty Rollison just threw an interception to number 25 for the Outlaws. That's Anthony Harper Jr. And Harper making a great heads-up play to give the Outlaws the ball back. However, they are deep in Dragon territory. In fact, they are starting their drive at the 11-yard line and trying to get their backs away from the end zone. They hand it off inside, but not amounting to much, as he gets just 1 yard on the carry. Something you always want to do with your backs against your opponent's end zone is you kind of just want to see what you can do to get the ball a little bit further away from the end zone. So if you do have to punt, although that's never the objective, you're not doing it from your own end zone. Quarterback keeps and rolling right. However, in fact, he's swallowed up by a number of Dragons, and he'll be taken down right about at the line of scrimmage. Yep. So a 3rd and 9 now for the Outlaws. In danger of squandering a good opportunity here, as the interception from Anthony Harper Jr. of Ty Rollison. Now just 3 short plays later, and the Outlaws face a 3rd and 9 from their own 27-yard line, it looks like. QB looking left, and instead he tries putting it straight down the middle, square between the two seams, but there wasn't really a wide receiver in the area. I think he was expecting a wideout to do something different. Might have been shoved down at the very end. Not able to make a great pass, but it'll be a 4th down now. And QB for the Outlaws. Michael coming out, so the punt team coming on. The Outlaws giving it right back to the Dragons, so Texas goes 3 and out here in their own end zone. And the Dragons will have great starting field position as the returner not even in his own territory yet. And it looks like a Dragon was offsides, and looked like it might have even been tipped, or not the punt that he wanted, because it only travels about 20 yards. Or maybe a 30-yard punt, so it'll be about a 30-yard punt, as it's down to inside the 38, and that's where your Dragons will start the ball next, inside Texas Outlaw territory at the 38. We're going to take one quick commercial, and we'll be right back. Welcome back here to the Prim. Your Northeast Texas Dragons football team lead the Texas Outlaws, a semi-pro football program out here in Texas and expanding into Arkansas and Louisiana as well. So kind of just all over the Northeast Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana area. But your Northeast Texas Dragons lead the Outlaws here 18-0, and wow, a great job by the running back to slip by a tackle, and he's able to make it to the 3rd line of defense before he is taken down inside the 25-yard line. Yep, it'll be at the 23-yard line is where they spot it, and that's very quickly another 1st down for the Dragons. So head coach Bill King hoping to get his team a touchdown before this first half ends. They currently lead 18-0. And another touchdown. Maybe not would ice the game, but definitely would put the Dragons closer to a 5-1 record They enter tonight 4-1. Rollison fakes the handoff, looking down the middle to number 12. That was intended for Jones. So a second down and 10 now for Northeast Texas.
Like
18-0 currently the lead here for Northeast Texas, and a nice handoff to their running back, number 27, Jaden Limbaugh. And a nice rush there as he goes 4 yards. Yep, 4 yards on 2nd and 10. Makes it now 3rd and 6 for Northeast Texas. The Dragons have 4 minutes to go about 20 yards exactly to get what would be their 4th touchdown here tonight. Rollison having all 3, 2 passing and 1 rush, and Rush Limbaugh screams into the end zone from 20 yards out for the touchdown. So a great job there by number 27, I believe. Yep, 27 it is. It's a bit hard. They've got a funky looking uniforms they're wearing tonight, being that they are the Dragons. They've got a flame design on tonight. And between that and the yellow numbers, it can be a bit tricky. So the touchdown from Rush Limbaugh. Now as the Dragons with the 2-point attempt. 2 running backs in the backfield. 2 out right, 1 far left. Dragons looking left. And looked like the wide receiver and the defensive back got tangled up. No call on the field, though, so it will stay a 24-0 lead here. Heading into another Outlaw kickoff. We're going to take a quick timeout, and when we return, we will have more Northeast Texas Dragons football coming right up. Welcome back to Joe Prim Stadium. Less than 4 minutes remain here in this first half as your Northeast Texas Dragons lead the visiting Texas Outlaws in a big way, 24-0. Kickoff to the Outlaws. Takes a bounce inside the 20, picked up at the 18-yard line. Number 1 for Texas, starting to make his way past the 30, but he will be swallowed up right about the 39-yard line, so that's where the Outlaws will start the drive. Your Northeast Texas Dragons with 4 touchdowns here tonight. 3 of them scored by Ty Rollison, 2 passing to Trey Dean, 1 rushed. And then on the most recent drive, a 20-yard rush from Limbaugh. Jaden Limbaugh, that is, to get the Dragons their 4th touchdown here tonight. And they lead in a big way, 24-0. The Outlaws might have their last chance here tonight unless they quickly punt it or turn the ball over and the Dragons aren't able to do anything with it. But again, probably safe to assume this might be the last full drive that the Outlaws can get if they aren't able to capitalize here. And big blitz from the right. QB rolling left and just having a scamper out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 38 for a 4-yard rush. Now makes it 2nd and 6. So nice heads-up play there by the QB for the Outlaws. Michael scrambling to his left and going out of bounds for about a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 6 now for the Outlaws. Texas rushing to the right, and they will get the first down yardage on the 2nd and 6, a 7-yard gain by Texas, and it'll give a new set of downs for the Outlaws. Texas has been able to get a few first downs, but not able to sustain them for a scoring drive. And facing a 4-score deficit here. They really need to get a touchdown if they want to stay competitive in this one. Otherwise, if they come out empty, it might just do it here, even though we've still got a full half to go. So on the handoff, they dish it out to the left, and ooh, taken down in a big way, grabbed by the jersey is number 2, Jelson Matthews, for a 2-yard loss, making it 2nd and 12. T-minus 2 minutes to go here in this first half. And we're going to take a quick break at the 2-minute warning, and when we return, we will have more Northeast Texas Dragon football coming up to wrap up the first half. Welcome back to the Prim, as on the first play coming out of the 2-minute warning, the Outlaws trying to hand it off, but man, he was gobbled up. Only way I can describe the play that just happened is that the Dragon defensive lineman on the left side practically knew the play, knew where it was going to be, and was all too ready for it as he swallowed up the man for the tackle for a 5-yard loss. Now a 3rd and 15 for Texas Outlaws, the Dragons. Hoping to thwart any chance of scoring here.
3rd down and long. That's how for the defensive fans, for the Dragons.
3rd and 15, the Texas Outlaws face, and a 24-0 deficit with under a minute to go. He has to sweep to his left. The pressure just too great, and an Outlaw just barely pushed out of bounds, and good thing at that. Otherwise, he could have made some dangerous yards there on that play. He will be pushed out at the Outlaw 49-yard line, so not quite able to make it into Dragon territory, but able to stop the clock, though, with 51 seconds left. So now a 4th and 6 here for the Outlaws, trailing 24-0. 51 seconds left on the clock here in this half. Ooh. And it will be a false start called against the Texas Outlaws. Tough going on 4th and 6, and makes it even tougher on yourself when you get the false start penalty, pushing it back 5 yards for an extremely tough 4th and 11 coming up. Probably time to dip into the bag of tricks here. They want to have a decent shot at scoring. As previously mentioned, the Outlaws have been able to move the ball, but able to get some first downs on a couple of drives, but not really able to sustain them for scoring drives. The Outlaws and the QB rolling left, 4th and 11. He's trying to direct traffic. He's able to avert one tackler and just laying it out there. He's got a man. And, ooh, great play by the defender for the Dragons to swat it away to another Dragon, number 28 for Northeast Texas. That's Nick Zavala, as he has now gotten 2 defensive turnover recoveries. He got a fumble just not too long ago and an interception just moments ago, as he's got, once again, 2 turnovers to his name here in this game. So the Dragons now have just 34 seconds left to go here on the clock. After the interception by Zavala. So now with the ball on their own 35, starting the drive, Rollison looking left, or looking right, sorry. And he makes a completion to Trey Dean on the near side. And Dean gets almost enough yards for a first down. A yard shy of it, so a 9-yard completion for the wide receiver. 2nd and 1 now for the Dragons. 30 seconds on the clock. And number 12, Jashun Jones. And he is met quickly by 2 players who force him out, but not before they're able to stop the clock, get the completion, and the first down yardage. The Dragons with a new set of downs here at midfield. But it looks like we'll have a timeout called on the field, so we're going to take a timeout with them, and when we return, we will have the end of this first half coming right up. Special thanks to James Terry, our station manager, for staying quick on his feet and always being ready for any quick and sudden changes. It looks like we got a full timeout instead of just a short one. Rolson looking right. He almost had a man down the right sideline, Trey Dean, but just not able to link up on the pass. Makes it a 2nd and 10. Just 15 seconds left to go here on this clock. Your Northeast Texas Dragons lead 24-0. Lots of hands on hips for the Texas Outlaw defense. Always a clear indication that your defense is gassed. Luckily, they got halftime coming up, and they will need it. If they want to get back into this game, they trail 24-0, and the Dragons have the ball. Fakes the handoff. Rolson looking down the middle for Jones and makes the completion at about the yardage necessary needed for the first down. No, they will mark him 2 yards short, so it'll be another timeout called by the Northeast Texas Dragons. But it looks like a flag down. And they will call it against the Texas Outlaws for offsides. So now we'll take a quick timeout. We'll hear from one of our sponsors and be right back for the end of this first half coming right up. Welcome back out here to Gerald Prim Stadium on a beautiful Saturday evening, Saturday, April 16th, as the Northeast Texas Dragons host the Texas Outlaws in a semi-professional football game. Pardon all those who may have been listening to the Texas Rangers, but for a scoring update for you, the Angels lead just by 1 now at 3-2. They were able to get 3 runs in the top frame of the third, and the Rangers responded with 2 runs of their own, so just trailing by 1. 2 scoreless innings later in the top of the 6th. Once again, a 3-2 lead for the Angels. With that game being played at the newest stadium for the Rangers. Rolson looking for the end zone, and he's got it. The last-second touchdown is good. And it is caught by Trey Dean, who gets yet another touchdown, his 3rd here, as 0-0's on the clock, and the Dragons now with a big 30-0 lead. And they still got the opportunity here to either kick the extra point or go for 2. And I believe they're going for it. Looks to be so. However, before we do that, the Outlaws want to call a timeout, and we're going to take a timeout with them and be back here shortly for the quick conclusion of this first half. Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium on a beautiful Saturday evening. We're covering semi-pro football out here in Sulphur Springs as your Northeast Texas Dragons lead big over the visiting Texas Outlaws 30-0. Ty Rollison getting a 3rd touchdown pass here in this first half, completing it to Trey Dean, who has caught all 3 of Rollison's 3 passing touchdowns. And now the Dragons going for 2 here to wrap up the first half. Once again, they currently lead 30-0. And we'll see if they can't increase upon that lead here. And they hand it off to Limbaugh. Limbaugh breaks the tackle but can't break the second wave as he is tackled just shy of the goal line. And that will wrap it up as we enter the half with your Northeast Texas Dragons leading big here 30-0. We'll be back here in a moment. Welcome back out to Gerald Prim Stadium It's a beautiful evening here on Saturday, April 16th. Wind moving in pretty nicely. It's getting a little cloudy over here in the last few hours. Hopefully no rain passing through our area, and if it is, hopefully it's after this game. But we've been treated to a real fun one as your Northeast Texas Dragons leading the visiting Texas Outlaws 30-0 here. Just 30 seconds remain left to go on the halftime clock before we begin the second half. And the Dragons looking to continue to build upon an impressive first half, which saw them score 5 touchdowns on 6 drives. The third to last drive, so that was the 4th drive total, was the only drive for the Dragons to not end in a touchdown, as Ty Rollison just missed the mark on his wide receiver. Wide receiver, I don't think, was ready or expecting the ball, as number 25 for the Outlaws able to make the interception. But however, other than that, it's been a really good showing for the Dragons, as once again 5 touchdowns and 6 drives. 3 of them passing touchdowns from Ty Rollison to Trey Dean, and then a rushing touchdown from Ty, as he just took the ball out from about the 1-yard line and just took it in himself. And then a rushing touchdown from Jaden Limbaugh. So, really nice first half from the Dragon offense, and pretty solid night by the Dragon defense as well, as they've been able to make a number of big-time stops, a number of sacks, and gotta love seeing a lot of quarterback pressure. And when you see a quarterback rolling out of the pocket and trying to make something happen across the side of his body with a throw, it's worked out pretty well for the Dragons, as that defensive pressure, quarterback rolling out, throwing it over the middle of the field across his body, has led to 2 interceptions, and then a fumble as well. That fumble came on a sack of the quarterback, in which a Dragon was able to scoop it up, start taking it back the other way. Gave the Dragons the ball, and that drive led to the Dragons' interception. Once again, the one drive of the game where the Northeast Texas Dragons did not score a touchdown. But about set to kick it off are your Northeast Texas Dragons here at Gerald Prim Stadium, looking to kick off to the Outlaws and hoping to get a quick 3-and-out, quick stop on defense, which will give the Dragons right back. And we are now set for the kickoff. Dragons giving it to the Outlaws, picked up at the 25, starting the return, but not able to get much, as he's not even able to get 10 yards on the return. It'll be about 8 they'll give him. So it'll be marked down at the 33-yard line, which is where the Outlaws will start with the ball for their first offensive possession here in this second half. Really needing to score on this one. Unfortunately for those visiting Texas Outlaws, I've been saying this for a couple of drives, as at one point they were trailing 18-0, and a couple of they've been able to get some first downs. They've been able to at some drives been able to chain a couple of first downs together, but just not able to really get it into the red zone and get it into the end zone. Not able to make it in the end zone even once tonight. So the Texas Outlaws going to need some wholesale changes here in the second half if they hope to emerge victorious. However, safe play here to begin the drive in the second half for the Outlaws, as it's rushed for 2 yards up the gut. Makes it a 2nd and 8. The Outlaws still huddling. Granted, they've got plenty of time, but in that they've got just over 13 minutes left to go here and still in this third quarter, but trailing by 30 points, they probably want to pick up the pace a little bit. Fumbles the snap a little bit. The QB holding on to it. He's able to break a couple of tacklers, but he's still rolling back. Now he's at the 20-yard line and hoping to get something going. And, wow, he's able to break a couple of tackles, and he's past the 40-yard line and still breaking tackles. He's past the 50, past the 40, inside the 35 before he's finally taken out at the 35-yard line. My word. He went 30 yards on that play on the QB keeper, scrambling out of the pocket, somehow evading, well, it seemed like every defender twice. But one thing I love about watching NFL games, as many listeners can probably relate, is when you see those pictures and graphs of a route a wide receiver or quarterback will run, where they have to run so many yards on top of their actual route. And on that 30-yard run, I mean, my goodness, that QB there, Michael, he might have went about 60 yards on that play. They handed off there on the new set of downs. The 1st and 10 not amounting to much on the rush. They'll give him 1 on the carry. A 2nd and 9 now for the Outlaws. Texas needs to change the script here of this game. In the first half, they weren't able to get any touchdowns and turned it over a considerable number of times. 4 times, in fact, they turned it over. And now, electing for the handoff, the running back takes it and takes it pretty far. He looks like he got pretty close to the yards to gain, so mark him about a yard short, though, at the Dragon 26-yard line. Now 11 minutes to go left to here to go in this third quarter. Just 4 minutes into this second half, and the Outlaws threatening to score their first points here of this game. About 6 yards out from the red zone, they hand it off on the option, and the running back is swallowed up in the backfield. My goodness, a 5-yard loss on the rush makes it a tough 4th and 6. Well, I don't ever want to call a game over until it's over, but if the Outlaws aren't able to score some points, namely a touchdown on this drive, could be all but finished here for them tonight. About 10 minutes left to go in the third. After the 5-yard loss on the rush from the pistol formation. But now, with the 4th and 6 at the 31-yard line, the Outlaws hoping to convert and keep any hopes of winning this game alive. He's trying to direct traffic, but no wide receiver was in the area. I don't think any were even able to break their defender and try and get some help for the quarterback. So it will be a turnover on downs. The Dragons getting the ball for the first time in the third quarter. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium here in this third quarter as the Northeast Texas Dragons, a semi-pro football team filled with many players from not only Sulphur Springs but abroad, leading pretty well here in this third quarter. We are less than 9 minutes, 9 ticks under 9 minutes into this third quarter. And the Dragons leading 30-0, getting a turnover on downs against the Outlaws as they weren't able to convert on a tough 4th and 6. Quarterback has had defenders in his backfield all night long. It seems like the second he gets the snap off, there are 2-3 guys in the backfield with him. So he's been running around like with his hair on fire. Rolson leading the Dragons back onto the field. He's had himself a pretty solid night up to this point, and just as I said that, he is sacked But he's got 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown for Jaden Limbaugh as well. It was a 20-yard rush, so he was able to score from outside the red zone. Rolson has depended heavily on Trey Dean, who has caught all 3 of Rolson's passing TDs. Rolson on this one, handing off to his running back. He is able to stiff arm a defender, break past the first wave of tackles before he's taken down by a DB at the 36-yard line, but not before he's able to get about 6 yards on the rush.
Bring up third down and about 6 for the Dragons.
So they'll give him 5 on that carry. A third and medium here. 3rd and 5, the Dragons hoping to avoid a 3-and-out. Rolson fakes the handoff. He has to escape the pocket a bit, evading some pressure. He's going to take it down the near sideline before he is pushed out at about the 41-yard line. It looks like he'll have enough for the first, but we'll have to wait for the official call. They might bring out the... No, they will say about 4th and inches. But I believe they will call a timeout to measure it. We'll see. And they'll say it's 4th and inches. No, they will not say it's 4th and inches. They are still discussing it. The refs are at the line. So, yep, they're going to bring the measuring sticks on. So really close the Dragons got to getting a first down, but they'll mark it just short. The Dragons. So, waiting for the call up here. And looks like it'll remain a 4th and very short. Yep, 4th and inches is the call on the field. Took a little bit of time, but got the call as originally. Ty Rollison and the Dragons with the 4th and short, 4th and inches. They hand it off into the interior of the line, but I don't know that he got there. No, they will not. They'll say he was stopped in the backfield for what will be the first turnover on downs here for the Northeast Texas Dragons. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll see how the Outlaws can respond on the short side of the field. We'll be right back. Welcome back out to the Prim here, folks. We're covering Northeast Texas Dragons football. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. We are here in April covering football, and it's been a pleasure covering a team filled with a bunch of former Wildcats and players from abroad. The Dragons, your Northeast Texas Dragons, leading big 30-0, but turnover on downs given up by the Dragons on their last drive on offense. Gives the Texas Outlaws the ball on the Dragon side of the field, so unquestionably the best starting field position for the Texas Outlaws here tonight. However, about 5 3/4 remains here in this third quarter, and they trail big 30-0, so I don't want to call a game over until it's over. The Dragons would have to, well, just about everything conceivably would have to go wrong for the Dragons for them to cough up a potential victory here, but look to be well on their way to their 5th win in their 6th game, 4-1 entering to tonight. And if they can hold on for a win here over the Texas Outlaws, they would be 5-1, while on their way to 8-1, which was their mark last season before falling in the playoffs. Nice play there by the Outlaws to get a pretty decent gain on 2nd and down. Now a 3rd and 3, it looks like. Texas looks to be at about the 33-yard line for the Dragons. Once again, as Northeast Texas gave up turnover on downs, couldn't convert on 4th and inches. The Outlaws have the ball and start the drive with great starting field position. Michael rolling left, then having to work his way back right. Once again, rolling left, he is now on the opposite side of the field, but so able to slip by some defenders before throwing across his body for another interception. And great pickup there by the Dragons to get another turnover against the Texas Outlaws. I believe that was number 25, maybe 26. Yep, 26 it is. So that'll be another turnover by the Texas Outlaws. It'll be a quick change of events. Both teams quickly moving onto the field to begin the next drive.
Big 1st and 10 Dragons at their own 32-yard line. And it's kept by the running back.
Another turnover picked up, and Jaden Limbaugh getting almost 25 yards on the carry. My goodness, before being shoved out. So he went, 20 yards on the carry. Another great pickup by Jaden Limbaugh. It's his 2nd explosive run here of the night of over 15 yards. He's been a solid runner for these Dragons here tonight. And Dragons definitely going to need him if they want to make a postseason run. And wide receiver held up by his respective defensive back. But no flag called. The intended target was A.V. Frazier. Second and 10 now for Northeast Texas. Once again, handing it off to Limbaugh. Jaden Limbaugh getting 5 yards on the 2nd and 10. Brings up 3rd and 5 for Northeast Texas. Limbaugh getting another carry. Third and 5 here now. Handing it off to Limbaugh, and he's able to break through 2 waves of tacklers before finally being taken down at the 35-yard line. Very impressive rush there by Jaden Limbaugh. Getting another first down for the Dragons. They've been very good at moving the sticks here and sustaining drives. Rollison passing deep right, and some kind of mix-up between the QB and wide receiver, and looks like there'll be, I believe, holding coming up. Called against a member of the Outlaw backfield. Texas really shot themselves in the foot with all these penalties.
Offside against the Outlaws.
Oh, no, they'll call offsides. So what was a 1st and 10 now becomes a 1st and 5. Or it'll remain a 1st and 10. Rolson, set for the snap, hands it off to Limbaugh. Limbaugh, juking and jiving his way through tacklers, and he's all alone. 10-5, and just taken down outside of the end zone. Man, that was close. Otherwise, he would have taken that about 30 yards to the house, my word. So he'll be taken down at the 1-yard line. What a great rush there by Jaden Limbaugh, as he looked really, really close to getting his second rushing touchdown here of the night, which would have been his second also touchdown of at least 20 yards. Rolson takes the handoff, and he's got a man all alone in the end zone. They weren't ready for that one, as the pass to Deshaun Jones is good for the touchdown. And the Outlaws giving up another touchdown here to Northeast Texas. The first 3 passing touchdowns from Ty Rollison were to Trey Dean, but this one just moments ago to Deshaun Jones gives the Dragons a 36-0 lead, but Ty Rollison gets his team lined up for the 2-point play. Seeing if they can't make it 38-0.
Dragons are going for the 2-point conversion.
The Dragons set for the pass. Rolson looking right, and he had a man, but the DB with great timing, able to stick his hands into the trajectory of Trey Dean. And Dean not able to make the pass, not able to make the completion, so it will be an incomplete 2-point conversion, no good. However, your Northeast Texas Dragons still lead in a big way, 36-0. We'll be back here in just a moment. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium here on Saturday, April 16th, as we are doing something a little bit different here tonight, covering semi-pro football, as there is a league out here in Texas and really the greater Northeast Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana area. And Northeast Texas Dragons are based right here in Sulphur Springs. Play their home games at Gerald Prim Stadium, home of Wildcats football and Wildcat and Lady Cat soccer, of course. But the Dragons having a really impressive start to this game. They lead 36-0 with just 40 seconds left to go here in this third quarter. The Outlaws playing for pride at this point, as the game might not officially be over, but it is pretty close, as the Outlaws had a really tough night here on offense. Let's see. 5 of their 6 drives, I believe. No, I'm sorry. 5 drives have ended in interceptions or some kind of turnover, whether it be an interception or a fumble, and a couple of turnovers on downs, and it's been a tough night for the Texas Outlaws. But still got 40 seconds left to go in the third, and 15 whole minutes of the fourth quarter to, if they can't win the game, they can at least make the final score a bit more respectable. However, on the 1st and 10, the Outlaws deferring to their tank running back, barreling inside, but only able to get about 2 yards on the carry. So for those who may have been listening to the Rangers broadcast here on KSST Radio 1230 a.m. before we got this broadcast underway, the Texas Rangers hosting the Los Angeles Angels. And unfortunately for the Rangers, currently trailing their division rival, LA, 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th. The Outlaws handing it off on 2nd and 8. He'll get about 5 on the carry. Or I'm sorry, he'll get 6 on the carry. But that will do it in the third quarter as the Outlaws trail in a big way, 36-0 here to your Northeast Texas Dragons. And when we return, we will have the fourth quarter of this game coming right up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium here on Saturday, April 16th. Your Northeast Texas Dragons, a semi-pro football team based right here in Sulphur Springs, is having themselves a heck of a game. And oh my goodness, just coming back from the commercial break on a 3rd and about 5, I want to say, maybe 3rd and 3. The Dragon defense just screaming to the quarterback on that play. I mean, it's like they were honing in on him. 4 Dragons were in the backfield to wrap up the quarterback for a 4-yard loss. And importantly, or I'm sorry, it was much more than that. It was about almost a 10-yard loss. And importantly, it was a 3rd down sack. So now the Outlaws facing a huge 4th and 14. Texas trails 36-0. And at this point, may not be gunning for the victory as this game is all but finished, but probably want to get that 0 off the scoreboard. It looks like that ball was tipped again, and the Dragons scoop it up at about the 45-yard line, and he gets inside the 30, so he gets over 15 yards before he is taken down inside the Texas 30-yard line. I would say we're going to take a quick commercial break, but instead, both teams quick to come out in the field, as I bet the Outlaws at this point, after punting the ball away for about the 3rd or 4th time here tonight, probably just want to put this game behind them and move on to next week. However, they first have to get through these final 13 and a half minutes of this contest, as the Outlaws trail by at least 5 touchdowns. 36 they trail. And a nice rush by Jaden Limbaugh. He's still inside and able to break so many tackles for a touchdown. My goodness, a 30-yard rushing touchdown for Jaden Limbaugh. And this lead has grown even bigger for the Northeast Texas Dragons. Man, Jaden Limbaugh having himself a heck of a night, as that is his 2nd rushing touchdown. He got one in the first half, in which the Dragons at that point led 24-0, and now just moments ago getting a touchdown to bump it up to 42-0. The Dragons running roughshod over these Texas Outlaws. And pass is tipped away. Tried to be caught by a couple of different Dragons and maybe a few Outlaws as well. However, unable to do so, so it just winds up being an incomplete pass. 2-point attempt, no good. However, the Dragons still lead in a big way, 42-0. When we return, we will have some more of this fun one coming right up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium, as your Northeast Texas Dragons have, at this point, if you're looking squarely off of touchdowns and extra points successfully kicked, they would have scored 7 touchdowns here tonight. However, a lot of them have, in fact, a vast majority of them, the Dragons have gone for 2. Same thing could be said for the Outlaws, or at least in terms of going forward on 3rd and 4th down. However, the Outlaws get the kickoff and take it past the 35-yard line to the 36, which is where Texas will start this drive, trailing by 42 points, 42-0. On the most recent drive, The Dragons got the second touchdown of the night from the running back for Northeast Texas. That's Jaden Limbaugh. And Limbaugh has had himself a pretty solid night full of explosive runs. He's had 3 of them go for at least 20 yards. And on the most recent drive, he took it out from 30 yards. So just breaking what had to be 3 or 4 tackles for a very impressive rushing touchdown. That touchdown scored by Limbaugh, again his second on the night, gave the Dragons a 42-0 lead. And now the Outlaws seeing what they can do here after turnover on downs on their most recent drive. The quarterback stepping up into the pocket. He lays it out on the left sideline, the nearest sideline, and it was almost in the hands of a Dragon there. So an ill-advised throw there by the Outlaw QB. However, luckily for him and the visiting Texas fans, he's not able to come up with it. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 after the incomplete. Nine minutes left to go here in this game. Your Northeast Texas Dragons leading 42-0. The Outlaws doing what they can to get that 0 off the scoreboard. However, these Dragons and their defense have been a tough group to go against. As another pass almost taken back the other way by the Dragons. This quarterback trying to make a lot of plays, trying to make a lot of throws as well across his body. And while I was definitely not a quarterback when I played football, quite the opposite, being an offensive lineman, I can tell you that throwing across your body can often lead to disaster. Eight minutes left to go here in this game. The Outlaws just drain the clock out now. And trailing 42-0. Scrambling to his left. And just unleashing it downfield. He's got a man. And oh, he caught it. My goodness, what a throw and what a completion inside the 20-yard line. And I could be mistaken, but I believe that, yes, this is the first time here tonight that the Outlaws have been in Dragon red zone territory. They have seldom made it inside the 20 here tonight, as the Dragons have been quick to force a lot of turnovers on downs, a lot of 4th and longs, which has made converting even more difficult. Not to mention a couple of penalties sprinkled here, there, and wherever, which definitely shot themselves in the foot. The Dragons, 4-1 entering tonight, and just under 7 minutes away from being 5-1, well on their way to an 8-1 mark like they had last season before they fell in the postseason. The Outlaws doing what they can to play for pride at this point, and the quarterback rushing is swallowed up on the tackle from behind by number 33 for the Dragons. Number 33 is Duante Dangerfield. Dangerfield, one of the sons of Coach Donald Dangerfield. Now inside the 15-yard line. So the first down rush gets about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 upcoming. And under 6 minutes left to go in this game, the Outlaws hoping to get their first touchdown of the night here in the closing minutes of this contest. But once again, the quarterback facing a tough road ahead of him. Ooh! And he's able to, I was about to say he was able to make the pass, but and the completion for the touchdown. However, the wide receiver had to fall onto the ground to try and come up for it. And they'll say he did not complete the process of the catch. So it will be called as an incomplete. And brings up a 3rd and 6. Another scoring update from Arlington at Globe Life Field. Globe Life Park is the former Texas Rangers ballpark. And 2 more runs scored by LA, and the Angels lead your Texas Rangers 6-2, out hitting the Rangers 9-5, and Texas coughing up 2 errors. Quarterback for the Outlaws somehow escapes being wrapped up and is still going before he has to fall on the football after looked like he lost control of it a bit. All that, and he was able to get about 5 yards on the carry. It'll be a 4th and 1. And with just 4 minutes left to go here on this clock, 4 minutes and some change, this more than likely being the Outlaws' last chance to touch the ball here in this game, and probably want to score a touchdown and so that they don't leave here with a 0 on the scoreboard. And huddling up here to discuss what play they're going to call. Facing a 4th and 1, trailing by 42 points with under 4 minutes to go. This game all but wrapped up. And Michael keeps it himself and able to get the first down. The Texas Outlaws putting together what has to be their best drive here of the night. Unfortunately, it came during what some might call garbage time. Or in other words, for those who may not be used to that term, it's just basically slang to describe when a game is finished and everyone but the scoreboard shows it, and or everyone but the clock shows it, and it's just like when a football team will score 2 or 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. You know, as the defense lightens up, the game's already concluded pretty much, but the Outlaws trying to put it all together for a touchdown, which would be their first of the night, and he had a man in the end zone, and they will call it a touchdown. I thought maybe he might have been down, but they will say it's good for the touchdown, and likely 2-point attempt coming up. So it looks like the QB for the Outlaws has come off the field. He was limping, able to get off the field on the opposing side, but now on the ground looks to be, at the very least, dealing with a nasty cramp. Definitely one thing I don't miss from my football days are cramping up in the waning months of summer. The Outlaws going for 2, but their quarterback on the sideline. And they will hand it off. And he is nowhere close, running into a brick wall at the line of scrimmage as the 2-point attempt no good. And with just 2:03 left, that'll likely do it for the Outlaws, as at least Outlaws on offense, as the Dragons leading big here and probably just looking to run out the clock here coming up. We're going to take another quick break, and when we return, we will have the conclusion of this game coming right up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium on Saturday, April 16th, where we're covering the Northeast Texas Football Dragons. Those of you may not know, Sulphur Springs does have a semi-pro football team. Right here in Sulphur Springs, playing at Gerald Prim Stadium, are the Northeast Texas Dragons, filled with not only former Wildcat players, but players from around the area as well. And the same Northeast Texas Dragons lead big here over the Texas Outlaws 42-0. Or I'm sorry, 42-6. Texas scored their first touchdown here on the night. Their 2-point attempt no good. So a 42-6 game. Just 2:03 left to go, though, as the Dragons probably just looking to run the clock out now. However, they kick it out of bounds on the far side. So penalty coming up. It will push the Dragons even further downfield as the ball looks like it touched down on the far side at about the 38. So we'll see where they put it. Ball remains the same, though. The Dragons on their way to their 5th win in 6 games, currently 4-1, and in just a few short minutes will be 5-1. Dragons getting the football and laying it downfield, intended for Trey Dean. He went up for it, but the DB able to contest the pass. And the wide receiver for the Dragons not able to come up with it. The incomplete pass results in a 2nd and 10 now for Northeast Texas. So after the incompletion, a 2nd and 10 for the second play of the drive for the Dragons, Northeast Texas. Just running out the clock now, trying to get the pass out to Jaden Limbaugh. However, pass wasn't there as the QB for Northeast Texas, no longer Ty Rollison. Instead, now it's Nick Tavar. As his first 2 passes here on the night, both incomplete. And just like that, a quick 3rd and 10 for the Northeast Texas Dragons. However, under a minute left to go here in this game, as they will look to drain as much clock off as possible. In fact, they might even be able to drain it off. However, no, they won't need to, as Jashun Jones with a huge completion from his QB now. Once again at Nick Tavar as Jashun Jones getting a first down, pushing it inside the 40. And, there will be a penalty on the field against Northeast Texas, which stops the clock here in this game with just 30 seconds left to go. So we're going to take one last quick commercial break, and when we return, we will have the conclusion of this game coming right up. Welcome back to Gerald Prim Stadium. Just 33 seconds remain between a 5-1 start to the season for the Northeast Texas Dragons, a semi-pro football team based right here in Sulphur Springs. Nick Tavar in at quarterback after Ty Rollison saw the last of his action on the last drive. And another completion there for the Dragons, able to push it about 3 yards closer to the end zone, now at the 37. So now a 2nd and 7 for your Northeast Texas Dragons. They call another timeout, but we're going to stay right here with them because I imagine they'll come right back out. The Dragons, led by head coach Bill King, have had a really solid game here tonight. I mean, they have just scored early and often, scoring on their first drive, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th drives. 7 touchdowns here tonight. And 2 here in this half. So definitely cooled down since they knew at the half that this game was just about over. But now just 26 seconds left to go. Tavar looking downfield. He's got a few guys and threw it just about to the defensive back. He had his hands all over that one. Was set to make the interception too, but just looked like it went right through his hands. So an incompletion there for the Dragons. But it will. I was about to say they'll let the clock keep running, but instead they stop it. And the Dragons calling another timeout. So another timeout with just 5 seconds left to go. The Dragons looking like they want to send this game off with a bang here. I imagine they have to be. If you're going to call a timeout with 5 seconds left to go. So final play of the game here. Your Northeast Texas Dragons well on the way to a victory. And the screen attempt on the pass, no good. But it doesn't matter as 0-0 is now on the clock as your Northeast Texas Dragons trounce the Texas Outlaws here at Gerald Prim Stadium 42-6. It was a fun one to cover as once again the Dragons scored early and often, scoring on their first, second, third, not on their fourth, but their fifth and sixth drives, all in the first half, and then getting 2 more here in the second half and winning big 42-6. So a great game by your Northeast Texas Dragons, and they start their season 5-1, thanks in large part to Ty Rollison, who had himself a show here tonight with 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and Jaden Limbaugh with 2 rushing touchdowns of his own. So a very, very solid night on offense for your Northeast Texas Dragons, but just as solid on the defensive side as well, coming up with a number of turnovers. In fact, looks like, yes, 4 of them. So 6 touchdowns on offense, 4 turnovers scooped up or picked up on defense. So really good night for both sides of the ball, and the special teams showed out too, getting a really good starting position, field position after a number of solid returns. So just dominating all 3 phases of the game here are your Northeast Texas Dragons, and we'll check over their schedule real quick to find out what's next. I can tell you, though, for sure, yes. So next Saturday they will be playing at the Reptiles, and if we could, I would say maybe we could do that their following 2 home games on April 30th and May 14th. However, we'll be covering Lady Cats softball in their postseason run as the Lady Cats won 11-0. 11-0 now in district play after their win over Marshall on senior night Thursday. So we anticipate that'll be a scheduling conflict. So while it was a whole lot of fun covering these Northeast Texas Dragons, I don't anticipate us being able to do it again this year. So best of luck to their head coach, who was very kind enough and very helpful, Bill King, and assistant coach Mike Simmons, who was very helpful in getting a lot of this information to me, including rosters, information about the team, and just very friendly, very welcoming. Glad we could do this, and I know they still got some more games left on the schedule, 3 more, as previously mentioned, and playoffs, but we're going to have to wait until next year to revisit these Northeast Texas Dragons. Until then, be sure to head to Gerald Prim Stadium, not next Saturday as they're on the road, but the Saturday after that, and May 14th, as they will be right back here at Gerald Prim Stadium. A great win for the Texas Outlaws, winning 42-6. And your Northeast Texas Dragons now head on the road next Saturday to take on the Reptiles. That'll do it for us here at Gerald Prim Stadium. Next up will be on Tuesday. I will head out to Longview to do Wildcat baseball as they take on Pine Tree for a very big game. Playoffs are pretty much on the line. I can't say for sure that the loser is eliminated, but they would effectively be. So sort of a winner-takes-all type situation on Tuesday. We'll be in Longview on Tuesday covering that Pine Tree Wildcat baseball contest at 7 p.m. And that'll do it for us next week, as we won't have a coach's show next Saturday. But until then, y'all take care, and we'll see y'all Tuesday for Wildcat baseball at Pine Tree.
Thank you, Ross. This has been Dragons football here on KSST, 1230 a.m., Sulphur Springs, Texas. Let's go back to the Rangers after these 2 messages.